Hi, my name is Darren Moore and I'm Group Commercial Director at Taxist Accountants. With a background, Taxist Accountants are a network of accountants across the UK, 350 plus locations, 77,000 clients, most of whom are small businesses. And my job is to help that network transition through the range of different schemes that the government has brought in response to COVID-19. Today, I'd like to talk to you about furloughing, or the coronavirus job retention scheme, because there have been some important changes in the last week. So I just want to explain what they could mean for you as an employer. So the Chancellor announced an extension of the scheme on the 29th of May, and he talked about a number of things. He talked about flexible furlough arrangements kicking in from July, and he talked about tapering, so gradually moving the cost of the schemes from the government to employers. Now, we know a fair amount already on this through that announcement. We are expecting more details on the 12th of June. We will provide those to you through video and elsewhere when we know them, but we think we know enough to at least explain some of the key dates and terms that you need to be aware of. So let's start with the flexible arrangements. From 1st of July, the new rules allow employers to bring back employees flexibly. So any amount of time, any shift pattern, part-time working, as opposed to an all or nothing approach previously. Really valuable for some employers, particularly in things like hospitality sector, for example. Now, as before, you need to agree with your employees what you're doing. So it is a change to terms and conditions. So you need to be aware of that. You may need some employment advice along the way to help you with that, but this should be helpful. And it's a point made there. Grant for hours employees are not working is calculated by reference to usual hours. In other words, you pro-rata the cost depending on the number of hours that people are actually working. Now, we do expect there to be a fair bit of work on this in terms of making the claims. I'll come back to that. But these claims should be very useful for certain sectors where that flexible working will help. Some important dates to be mindful of. So from 1st of July, the scheme will only be available to employers that have previously used the scheme for employees that have been furloughed. In other words, you can only claim from 1st of July for employees that have previously been furloughed. Now, that's key because there may be some businesses out there that were imagining they didn't need to furlough before now, but they would do in the extended period from July to October. You can't do that if people haven't been furloughed previously. And the effective date, therefore, to furlough people now for them to be included from July onwards is 10th of June. And the reason it's 10th of June is you need a 3-week furloughing period to qualify. So 10th of June means you'd have 3 weeks in June for a person to be furloughed, which means they'd then be eligible for furloughing in July onwards. So a really important date to just note for you. Some new limits to be aware of. So employers will have to the 31st of July to make a claim for the June period. Now, previously it was open-ended. You had an undefined period to claim. Now you've got a month to claim before the new rules transition in. And another important point, the number of employees an employer can make in any claim is capped at a claim figure that they've put in previously. So in other words, if you've claimed for 4 employees in May, and that's your biggest single claim by employment number, you can't claim for more than 4 people in the future. So there is that cap in terms of the number of individuals on a particular claim in the past. So you need to be aware of those new limits. They will catch some people out, we think. In addition to flexibility, the government is now transitioning its support. So for June and July, it's effectively business as before. So 80% of wages up to a cap of 2,500, the same as it has been for the past few months. From August, it starts to change. So from August, the employer will have to pick up the employer's national insurance and pension contribution costs, unlike previously. So that starts to transition. And that then moves on to September with 70% paid for by the government. So 10% of gross wages paid for by the employer. October moves further, 60% by the government, so therefore 20% by the employer. So gradually moving that cost across. So there's a quick table summarising this, talking about the months and the changes. Hopefully that's useful in terms of just a recap on what's happening. But this is quite a significant change. It will mean that your claims are likely to be more complicated. You've got transitional arrangements to pick up as per this table, and you've got flexible calculations to make. Now, we don't know exactly how they will work yet. We will update you when we know more, but it will mean probably more complication in making those claims. So you might want to think about help needed on that front. You might want to talk to your accountants. If you do want to talk to us, we are, of course, open for business. And that goes across all of our network who have done thousands of claims over the last few months on behalf of their clients. You can see details there on the website, which is a good resource in terms of other things that might be of interest around COVID-19 response. But please do contact us, and please do look for our free telephone and video consultations should that be useful for you. So I hope that's been helpful. I hope that gives you a quick summary of where we are. Please do stay safe and look out for our next video. Thank you.